Good afternoon and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are continuing the story of what the rose did to the cypress. Now you may remember that Prince Almas had gone down the path that led past the castle of clashing swords, and there he had encountered one fierce warrior after another, to the point where he was becoming overwhelmed by their numbers and their strength. Now, in a moment of, quiet, he lit one of the hairs of the lion on fire, as he had been instructed to do so. At this point in time, he had already killed the king. Taram Tak was his name. He'd killed Taram Tak's main warrior, this giant of a man, who thought Prince Almas would be no problem. Prince Almas had stabbed him in the armpit, he dropped him, and then with that incredible sword, he had cleaved the warrior in two. Now the king himself, knowing what had happened, came out of the castle with hundreds more warriors. And Prince Almas thought, now I am surely done in. But then suddenly behind them came thousands of lions, and they began to tear through the ranks of Taram Tak with no problem at all. Soon, Taram Tak was the only one that was left, and he began to flee, to take refuge back in his castle, which was a mighty fortress, stone walls, iron gates, a moat all the way around his main castle and palace. Still, he had some men to watch over him. But Prince Almas called him out, said, "Where are you going? Are you fleeing from me now? Come back and fight." Taram Tak turned and said, "Fine. If you wish to battle with me, I will grind you into the ground with my club." And with this, he took his club and threw it at Prince Almas. Prince Almas, seeing it coming, immediately spurred his horse forward, and the club sailed right past him over his head. Taram Tak thought certainly that club had annihilated Prince Almas, and had turned to walk to his palace, when Prince Almas came up behind him and cleaved him in two with his sword. The king of the lions was immediately impressed with everything that Prince Almas had done. The two of them went into the palace and into the kingdom and saw that it was done up in a princely fashion. Everything beautifully done. A woman came out, presented herself to Prince Almas, and said, "Please, take me into your service. I am the daughter of Taram Tak, and I will do you good service for all of your days if you will but spare me and take me with you." Now Prince Almas agreed to do so, but told her that he was off on a long journey. She was to stay in the castle, and when he returned, he would take her with him to his own kingdom and provide for her as best he could, that he would also bring with him all of her possessions so that she felt quite at home. He said, "You do not need to be in my service, but come, I will take care of you." At this point, he asked the lion to watch over Taram Tak's castle and possessions until his return, which the Lion King agreed to do. And Prince Almas, at this point, continued on his journey. In some days, he arrived at a place that Princess Jamila had described to him as the magnificent meadow. Now, he needed to win the favor of the Simurgh. The Simurgh was a huge bird, and in order for him to reach the Caucasus. He needed to fly over 7 huge seas. The only way to get over them was with the help of the Simurgh. When he got to this meadow, he was tired, but it was so beautiful. He tied up his horse, hobbling it so that it could graze and wander without running away. And then he ate of some of the fruits and drank of the water of the stream, and also ate some of the food that Princess Jamila had sent with him. After some time, he lay down to sleep, but was aroused by a noise like nothing he had ever heard, a snorting and a groaning, and when he lifted himself up, he saw a mountain of a dragon coming down the hillside toward him. Now he had laid under the most beautiful tree in that meadow, a tree like none other he had ever seen. Its branches were very much the same and spreading out in all directions, and it was covered with blossoms, a fragrance of which he had never experienced before. Lifting himself up, he girded on his sword. He took 3 arrows from the quiver and got ready to shoot that bow, and struck on as well the dagger of Tumas. And we will leave the story there.